Today you will watch how Sigma males don't find love, love finds them.
How Sigma males don't find love, love finds them.
Here's something most people never stop to question. A curious truth that hides in plain sight. Why do some men chase love endlessly, while another kind of man barely takes a single step toward it, yet love somehow finds him? There's a quiet truth about Sigma males that slips under the radar, something most people never recognize until much later. While countless people spend their entire lives running after affection, chasing, forcing, and trying to earn validation, the Sigma male moves through the world in an entirely different rhythm. His journey isn't fueled by pursuit. It's guided by alignment. Picture this: a man moving through life without a drop of hurry in his veins. He walks into a room without scanning faces for approval, without searching for attention, without performing just to be noticed. Yet eyes naturally drift toward him. His presence does the talking long before he ever opens his mouth. He stands calm, steady, grounded, and entirely intentional. And that quiet stability speaks louder than the loudest extrovert ever could. And this is the paradox. While others exhaust themselves trying to pull love closer, the Sigma male often finds that the purest connections are the ones that end up gravitating toward him on their own. The reason behind this isn't mystical, it's psychological. Studies in social dynamics reveal a powerful truth. People are instinctively drawn to those who radiate independence, confidence, and inner completeness. Sigma males embody this effortlessly. They're not desperate, and desperation pushes people away. They're not needy, and neediness drains. Instead, they move with a self-contained calmness, carrying the quiet belief that they are whole with or without anyone's approval. This links directly to the scarcity principle, the understanding that people place greater value on what is rare. Emotional stability, self-reliance, and unwavering confidence are rare traits in today's world. And that rarity becomes magnetism, especially for women. In a society filled with restless souls searching outside themselves for fulfillment, the Sigma male stands out as a rare contrast. Still, centered, complete. He invests in himself, not in the chase. He sharpens his mind, builds his body, elevates his skills, and strengthens his character. Research consistently shows that self-growth and competence are some of the most attractive long-term traits. So the Sigma male isn't running from love. He simply doesn't place it at the center of his universe. And because he doesn't chase it, love tends to arrive naturally. Imagine an ancient forest tree, strong, towering, grounded. It never calls out for birds, yet they gather on its branches. It never begs for shade, yet shade forms beneath it. Its strength is silent, but undeniable. That is how the Sigma experiences love. Unforced, organic, quietly magnetic. His authenticity becomes the gravity. His solitude becomes the glow. His self-mastery becomes the invitation. For him, love isn't something to hunt. It's something that appears when the alignment is right. Because in life, what's truly meant for you is what arrives when you finally stop chasing everything that isn't. Now tell me, in your opinion, what's the most powerful trait a Sigma male carries that people underestimate the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 1. Non-desperation is naturally attractive. While many men spend years chasing affection, adjusting themselves to fit expectations, or racing to impress others, the Sigma male moves differently. His calm detachment from the need to find love isn't about arrogance or emotional coldness. It comes from maturity, an understanding of timing, value, and emotional clarity. Psychologists often highlight that attraction is shaped by perceived scarcity and genuine confidence. When someone doesn't crave attention, they instantly appear more desirable. Why? Because their self-sufficiency signals inner strength. This is the Sigma male's energy in its purest form. He doesn't chase validation. He invests in his passions, his growth, his peace. And that naturally creates a pull. Studies in social psychology confirm that people are drawn to those who seem secure within themselves. It communicates stability and depth. The Sigma's patience shows that he refuses to rush into shallow connections just to avoid being alone. This patience, ironically, makes people more eager to earn his interest. His attention becomes valuable precisely because he doesn't offer it carelessly. You can see this subtle power everywhere. While some feel pressured to constantly prove themselves, the Sigma allows life to unfold at its own pace. He understands that authentic love cannot be captured. It arrives through alignment, not force. His calm indifference isn't rejection. It's self-respect. Like gravity, his quiet confidence draws people toward him without him having to chase. And this is the paradox. By not chasing, he becomes the one who is pursued. Love finds him because he leaves space for it. Number 2. Self-sufficiency breeds magnetism. Sigma males are genuinely content with themselves, and that inner contentment is their hidden force. Unlike those who chase external approval or seek validation to feel complete, the Sigma walks through life anchored in quiet self-assurance. This independence forms a magnetic pull because humans naturally gravitate toward those who don't rely on others to define their worth. Psychology has long shown that true confidence, real, not forced, is inherently attractive. A man who enjoys his own company radiates emotional stability, and stability is one of the rarest currencies in today's approval-hungry culture. What makes this even more compelling is how perfectly it aligns with modern behavior studies. Social psychologists explain that people subconsciously admire those who display autonomy and inner control. These qualities signal reliability, inner strength, and leadership potential. The Sigma doesn't advertise his value. His presence communicates it effortlessly. Think of him like gravity, quiet yet undeniable. That's why even in a crowded room filled with noise, competition, and ego, the Sigma somehow stands out without lifting a finger. Look at examples throughout history. Nikola Tesla, deeply private, absorbed in his work, uninterested in applause, yet admired for his brilliance. Clint Eastwood, stoic, restrained, calm, building an entire legacy on understated confidence. Both men illustrate how solitude and self-reliance generate influence without demanding it. The Sigma's contentment isn't arrogance. It's balance. He knows external approval fades quickly, while inner peace sustains him. That's why his interactions feel genuine. He engages out of choice, not emotional hunger. Whether in relationships, friendships, or professional spaces, this inner independence earns respect. People might not fully understand him, but they feel something different around him. In a world addicted to noise, validation, and performance, the Sigma's quiet self-reliance becomes the exact thing people can't ignore. He doesn't reject society. He simply doesn't depend on it to define his identity. And that is what pulls others closer, wondering who this man is that walks so comfortably in his own rhythm. Number 3. Mystery sparks curiosity. And this is one of the Sigma male's most unintentional advantages. In a world where everyone broadcasts their life online, the man who stays private becomes magnetic. He doesn't parade every achievement. He doesn't narrate every thought. He reveals little, and not because he's trying to be mysterious, but because he genuinely values his inner world. Psychologists explain that the brain is naturally drawn to mystery. When someone doesn't overshare, the mind begins filling in the blanks, often painting a far more intriguing picture than reality itself. That's why the Sigma's restraint makes people, especially women, lean forward. They want to know more. They want to understand what he sees, what he feels, what he thinks. This is rooted in something ancient. Long before modern society, revealing too much was dangerous. Privacy equaled survival. Even today, oversharing weakens presence, while selective disclosure builds respect. Studies on attraction show that sharing just enough and holding back the rest creates deeper emotional bonds. The Sigma lives this naturally. His privacy isn't a tactic. It's simply who he is. He doesn't speak out of fear of being forgotten. He speaks when something matters, That alone gives his words more weight. Culturally, we see this pattern in the lone wolf archetype, Clint Eastwood's nameless wanderer, Keanu Reeves' stoic resolve, characters whose silence became their power. The Sigma echoes that same energy. He knows that the fewer details people have, the more they wonder. And the more they wonder, the more unforgettable he becomes. Number 4. Stillness. Stillness is rare in today's world, and that rarity is a form of power most men don't realize they have. Think about how chaotic modern life has become. Constant notifications, non-stop news cycles, endless noise. Most people get swept into this current without even noticing it. They speak fast, move fast, think fast, always reacting. But then there's the man who doesn't get pulled into the storm. The one who carries himself like a steady flame while everyone else flickers. His stillness becomes unmistakable. He stands out not because he's trying to, but because peace is so uncommon that people instinctively gravitate toward it. Psychologists have studied this for years. Emotional contagion shows that the energy of one person can shift an entire room. Anxiety spreads quickly, but so does serenity. A calm individual naturally becomes an anchor, helping others stabilize without saying a word. That's why leaders who remain grounded in crisis are usually the most respected. Their presence alone communicates strength. History echoes this truth. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire through war and plague, yet centered his mind in stillness. Gandhi challenged an empire without raising his voice, relying instead on discipline and unwavering composure. Their presence drew people in, not through noise, but through inner alignment. And today, in a culture drowning in overstimulation, being grounded is almost rebellious. It signals that a man isn't swayed by trends, gossip, or chaos. He chooses his own rhythm. And because this is so rare, people can't help but wonder about him. They sense something different: peace, awareness, authenticity, and they lean in closer. Number 5. Depth over performance. The Sigma male doesn't need to dazzle the world with flashy behavior or loud confidence. His depth, intellect, calmness, and authenticity create a type of attraction far stronger than surface-level charm. In a society obsessed with appearances, possessions, and exaggerated displays, the Sigma male represents a deeper truth. Real attraction grows from within. Psychology tells us that authenticity is one of the biggest drivers of long-term attraction because it signals honesty, reliability, and emotional security. Humans can sense when someone is pretending, and while that might capture attention for a moment, it rarely builds real connections. The Sigma doesn't perform. He doesn't chase applause. He doesn't create a version of himself for approval. He shows up as he is, and that sincerity becomes unforgettable. The Sigma's calm energy isn't something he puts on like an act. It's the pure reflection of how his inner world actually feels. He isn't the type to rush into conversations just to fill silence, nor does he brag to earn attention. Instead, he allows the quiet strength of his presence to speak for him, and strangely, that presence often commands more respect than any loud performance ever could. Modern neuroscience even backs this up. Studies show that people who maintain composure lower cortisol, not only in themselves but also in those who share their space. In simple terms, being around someone who carries real inner calm can make you feel safe, grounded, and emotionally regulated. That alone is a rare gift, and an incredibly magnetic one. But depth plays just as big a role. Not the kind measured by degrees or academic brilliance, but the kind born from curiosity, observation, and thoughtful awareness. Look back through history and you'll find example after example. Leaders, philosophers, visionaries who spoke less, yet influenced more, simply because their words carried weight. People naturally listen when someone only speaks after they've truly thought. And that is one of the Sigma's quiet signatures: substance over noise. What makes this even more powerful is how authenticity ties everything together. Whether in friendships, relationships, or professional networks, authenticity is the foundation of real trust. Research in organizational psychology shows that genuine leaders, not performative ones, inspire deeper loyalty and stronger results. The same applies to emotional bonds. When someone is real, not polished, not pretending, not posturing, people feel it. That's the Sigma. He doesn't manufacture charm. He doesn't decorate himself with false confidence. He simply is. And people find that refreshing in a world that runs on filters and facades. His power isn't in showing off. It's in showing up. Grounded, intelligent, observant, real. These qualities silently forge connections with a depth that surface-level attraction can't compete with. In the long run, depth always outshines performance. Number 6. Purpose comes before romance. A Sigma male always puts his mission first, his personal growth, his work, his vision for the future. And this mindset is exactly what makes him stand out. In a world full of people chasing quick affection or temporary validation, the Sigma focuses on building himself from the inside out. This drive isn't just ambition, it's alignment. It's the ability to shape daily habits around long-term goals. And history reminds us that individuals with unwavering purpose have always held a magnetic pull. Think of Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, men who didn't become fascinating by performing for attention, but by embodying clarity, independence, and relentless focus. Psychology supports this too. Research in evolutionary behavior shows that self-sufficient, goal-oriented individuals are seen as more desirable partners. They signal stability, discipline, and the capacity to create value, not just for themselves but for those who join them. Ironically, this is why the Sigma becomes more appealing without needing to chase anyone. Attraction that forms naturally around a man with vision feels effortless, even inevitable. People gravitate towards someone who knows where he's headed because it creates a sense of safety, admiration, and respect. This is why the Sigma never has to be loud or competitive to be noticed. His growth, his discipline, and his quiet confidence speak more clearly than any performance ever could. Women, and even other men, can instantly distinguish between someone who craves validation and someone who is simply living his mission. The latter becomes intriguing, admirable, and deeply attractive. In choosing purpose over validation, the Sigma ends up attracting far more than love. He attracts loyalty, devotion, and long-lasting respect. Number 7. He attracts what matches his energy. Because the Sigma is selective, he refuses to settle. In a world full of rushed relationships and hollow connections, he chooses depth. He chooses meaning. He chooses alignment. That selectiveness is not arrogance, it's wisdom. Psychologists note that while humans crave connection, quality matters far more than quantity. Studies from the University of Kansas reveal that it takes around 50 hours just to form a casual friendship, and over 200 hours to build a close one. That means real bonds are slow, intentional, and built over time. The Sigma understands this intuitively. He doesn't rush into relationships out of fear or pressure. He doesn't cling to people who drain him. Instead, he lets compatibility reveal itself naturally. And because of that, he attracts individuals who resonate with his wavelength, people who appreciate depth, consistency, meaning, and authenticity. His energy filters out the superficial long before they ever get close. Love, connection, friendship, none of it is forced. It aligns. It unfolds. It arrives when the energy matches, not when he chases. And that is one of the Sigma male's greatest truths. He doesn't seek the world. The right parts of the world seek him. Sigma males grasp something most people overlook. Shallow interactions don't feed the soul. They instinctively pull away from connections that stay stuck on the surface. Instead, they pour their time, energy, and quiet patience into relationships that deepen, strengthen, and become unshakable over the years. And because of this, people often misread them. What appears to some as aloofness or high standards is simply a man who understands his worth and refuses to dilute it. He knows that settling for anything less than genuine will only breed resentment later. By choosing carefully, he protects not just his own inner peace, but also the emotional atmosphere of whoever enters his life. This selective nature isn't rooted in superiority. It's rooted in discernment. It's the understanding that love should never be a placeholder or a temporary distraction. It should be a bond defined by trust, respect, and real alignment. Popular media tries to convince us that romance is all passion, chaos, and sweeping intensity. But real love, the kind that actually lasts, grows out of stability, shared values, and emotional clarity. Sigma males live by this truth without ever needing to announce it. When they commit, it isn't because they're afraid to be alone. It's because they've identified someone who genuinely fits their world. Their silent patience ensures that when love finally reaches them, it's authentic rather than accidental. That's why, for them, love is something tested, something transformative. They would rather walk alone for years than waste time in connections that don't grow. Their selectiveness isn't coming from a mindset of scarcity. It's coming from abundance. By refusing to engage in empty bonds, they create room for relationships that are meaningful, fulfilling, and emotionally rich. Love reaches them naturally, not because they chase it, but because they create the environment where it can take root and flourish. Number 8. Authenticity can't be ignored. At the core of the Sigma's identity lies something rare: authenticity. While others adjust themselves to fit into social expectations, the Sigma stays grounded in who he truly is. He doesn't mask his personality or play characters to earn approval. In a world overflowing with pretense, his honesty becomes a powerful magnet. Psychologists explain that authenticity creates emotional safety. It invites others to relax, to be their real selves without fear of judgment. And this is why relationships with Sigma males often feel unusually deep. People sense he has no hidden motive, no secret agenda. What he presents is exactly who he is. Historically, many unconventional thinkers and leaders who inspired deep admiration shared this same trait. Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, men who embraced their authentic nature, even when it went against social norms, and gained lasting respect because of it. This authenticity becomes even more compelling in modern relationships. Instead of chasing love or forcing connections, the Sigma simply lives with such grounded honesty that love drifts naturally toward him. His presence feels like a quiet sanctuary in a loud, competitive world. That calm, steady aura becomes irresistible. In truth, the Sigma's relationship with love has never been about pursuit. It's about presence. He doesn't burn energy trying to win validation. He doesn't tie his self-worth to attention. He focuses first on being complete within himself. And that emotional maturity radiates outward, drawing others in without effort. Love gravitates toward a man like this because he is already whole. And psychology backs it up. Studies consistently show that the people who enter relationships from a place of inner completeness create the deepest, healthiest bonds. That's the quiet advantage here. He doesn't sprint after love. He aligns with it. His connections form naturally, not through pressure. Two paths meeting effortlessly, not two storms crashing. And this is where the paradox becomes undeniable. By not needing love, he draws it in. By refusing to beg for attention, he receives more of it. And by allowing life to unfold instead of rushing, he ends up finding exactly what was meant for him from the beginning. The message is simple, timeless, and powerful. Stop chasing, start becoming. Because the moment you build yourself into a man of substance, depth, calm, and grounded strength, the right people feel that energy and move toward you on their own. No force, no desperation, no performance. Love will find you when you finally become the person worth finding, just as it always finds those who walk with quiet purpose. If this resonated with you, don't just leave, grow with us. For more mind-shifting insights, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Epic Persona.